All right, we're going to start. We're going to review a few more word problems with systems of inequalities. I know the video yesterday only had 2, so we're going to do 6 more today. I've already pre-labeled some of these things so it won't take so much time in the recording, but you have to pause the video and write down what I have pre-labeled, okay? But I'm going to go through it, or as I talk about it, you pause the video and write down the things I pre-labeled. All right, so these word problems, these 6 are going to deal with thing 1 and thing 2. And we did this when we solved linear word problems. You could solve it using, or write them using slope and y-intercept, where it was in the form y equals mx plus b, or thing 1 and thing 2, where it was in the form ax plus by equal to c, or if you had a point and a slope, or 2 points. So I think this was in the last test that you had. But if you find word problems that deal with 2 different things, you can use standard form. Standard form is ax plus by equals to c. And let me explain what each one of these letters mean. X will be represented by thing 1. Y will represent thing 2. The a, which is the coefficient of x, will be something dealing with thing 1. The y, which is the coefficient of b, will be something dealing with thing 2. And c will be normally some total, okay? Or some constant amount, like a regular number, that ends up, and like I said, in most cases, it's going to end up being some total of what you want, all right? Because it's that ax plus by, that plus means you're adding something to get some final number, all right? And that's going to be your c. All right, so what we'll do is we'll start off on number 1. And I'll be right back, guys. I need to go get my calculator. Hold on. All right, we're going to start off on number 1. It says, suppose you buy flour and cornmeal in bulk to make flour tortillas and corn tortillas. Okay, so the 2 things that I see already is I know I need flour for the flour tortillas and the cornmeal for the corn tortillas. And I think what I'll do is go back and make this my thing 1 and thing 2. Since I'm making these tortilla shells, I'm going to say this is going to be thing 1. And then the cornmeal is going to be thing 2. Okay. Flour costs $1.50 per pound. So I can already tell you $1.50 is going to be your A, because it's going to go with X. I'm going to call thing 1 X, thing 2 Y. So since it says flour is going to go with X, or $1.50 is going to go with X. And then it says cornmeal costs $2.50 per pound. Well, the cornmeal is associated with thing 2 right here, which is Y. So $2.50 is going to go with the Y. That's going to be your B. All right, and it says you want to spend less than $25 on flour and cornmeal put together. But you need at least 6 pounds altogether. So I went ahead and pre-labeled this. X is the number of pounds of flour, which I just got that from here, right here. Y is the number of pounds of cornmeal, guys. And I got that from right here. Now, the money is based off of the pounds. Okay. So if we look, it says that we want to spend less than $25. Okay. Well, I have to be able to use $1.50 and $2.50, because that's how I get my money. But remember, $1.50 is associated with the flour. So $1.50 is going to go with A. So when I write it in the form AX plus BY equals to C, and it won't be equals. I know it's an inequality. I'll fix it in a minute. It's going to be $1.50, and I'm going to drop the 0. I don't need it. X plus 250Y. And because it says we want to spend less than $25, I'm going to put less than 25. Now, if you'll notice over here, my inequality, my first inequality deals with the total amount of money I want to spend, which is less than $25. But if you notice as well, not only did you have less than $25 for money, you need at least 6 pounds of food altogether. So, or 6 pounds of flour and cornmeal. So this is my second inequality is going to deal with the number of pounds of flour and cornmeal. So X is the number of pounds of flour. So it's X plus the number of pounds of cornmeal should be at least means greater than or equal to 6. Okay. So I'm going to run back through how I got these equations one more time, just so you feel comfortable. I'm going to erase all of my pre-writing and let you just see from the beginning. Alrighty. All right, so to go back, says the flour and cornmeal, you want to buy flour and cornmeal in bulk. Thing 1, thing 2. All right, and it says flour costs $1.50 per pound. So I know $1.50 is going to go with the flour. Cornmeal costs $2.50 per pound. So I know $2.50 is going to go with that. You want to spend less than $25 on flour and cornmeal. So what I do is I make sure I highlight this. Because when I highlight this, when I highlight that part, it tells me what goes here. That's money. And then it says, but you need at least 6 pounds altogether. So that tells me what type of equation goes there. Okay. So I wrote that $1.50 goes with X plus $2.50 with Y. And I'm going to erase that 0. I can drop the 0, guys. Let's just put 2.5Y. But since it's money, the $1.50 per pound of flour plus the $2.50 per pound of cornmeal should be less than $25. So this is dealing with money, and money. And this, the total number of pounds needs to be at least 6. So this is dealing with pounds of flour, pounds of cornmeal, total pounds all together. Okay. So now if you'll notice, I had defined my variables. Thing 1 was flour, but it's talking about pounds of flour. So I put pounds of flour. Thing 2 was cornmeal, okay? But it's pounds of cornmeal that I'm buying. And all you want to make sure you're doing is you go on the x-axis, label this X, and write what it is, was pounds of flour. You go on the y-axis and write what it is as pounds of cornmeal. And there it is right there. Now what you have to do is after you write these inequalities, you have to graph them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead for the inequality dealing with the total money, which is $1.50 per pound of flour plus $2.50 per pound of cornmeal has to be less than $25 spent altogether. What I'm going to do is multiply each thing in here by 10 because I don't like dealing with these decimals, guys. Okay. So the reason why I'm doing this is I don't like dealing with decimals, and I want to eventually get this thing in slope-intercept form so it's easy to graph. Now, I could have graphed it using x and y intercepts where I set the x equal to 0 to get y, and the y equal to 0 to get the x-intercept. but I'm just going to proceed with slope and y-intercept. Now, I don't want the decimals. So if I multiply by 10, it's going to push this decimal 10 place to the one place to the right. That's going to be 15x. This will go one place to the right, becoming 25y. And this will go one place to the right, becoming 250, because you have to add a 0 in that space, okay? So now what I'm going to do is subtract 15x from both sides because I want to write it in slope-intercept form. So I want to move it from standard form to slope-intercept form when I get ready to graph. Okay. So I'm going to subtract 15x from both sides. So we end up with 25y less than negative 15x plus 250. Then I just divide everything, every term by 25. Now, of course, guys, we're going to simplify. So that's going to be y less than or equal to negative 15 over 25x plus how many 25s make 250? That would be 10. Now, I'm going to simplify my slope by dividing them both by 5. Negative 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. 25 divided by 5 is 5. All right, then this particular one, this one is very easy because these are imaginary ones here. Okay, so for this one, it's 1x plus 1y greater than or equal to 6. You're going to subtract 1x from both sides. So you end up with 1y, and I don't need the 1 unless it's negative. I'm going to take that off. Greater than or equal to negative 1x plus 6. So I'm going to graph each one of these. So I'm going to graph the one in black first. It has a b of 10 and a slope of negative 3 over 5. So I'm going to go up 10. This is 0, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And because my slope is negative 3 over 5, I'm going to go down 3, down 1, 2, and 3, and to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'll do it again, down 3, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I can do it again, down 3 and right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what I do is make a line. And it's solid. That one isn't because it's less than. Okay. And I think for some reason what I did is added an equal sign right here, and I should have. Take that off. It's just less than. So I'm going to do a dashed line, guys. If I can get back to my shape. And we'll see if we can do it that way. Okay. And because it was less than, see, this was less than right here. I'm going to shade below my boundary. So it's all of this. Okay. Now I just have to graph the other one, the one in pink. So I'll do the one in pink. This has a B of 6 and a slope of negative 1. Now negative 1 is the same as negative 1 over 1. Okay. It's got a B of 6. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then I'm going to go down 1 and right 1. And because it's got an equal to sign there, it's going to be a solid line. But the symbol is greater than. So if I go back and look at the symbol, it's greater than. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shade above. I'm going to use pink to shade above the boundary. It will be all of this. That's above the boundary. And you can see specifically where it overlaps, okay? It will overlap on all of that. So this area here, let me do it a little heavier. This area and here, all of this is where it overlaps, okay? So any point you can pick in there will be a solution. So in part B, it says write 2 possible solutions. Okay, so one solution might be, okay, I'll just pick, and I'll do it in red. I'll pick something like, I want to do green. That's in there. Well, if I count that, that's over 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and up 1, 2, 3. So it's the 0.53. Now, what does that mean? Well, 5 is an X and 3 is a Y. Well, let's look what X and see what X meant. X represented the pounds of flour. So this would be 5 pounds flour. And then we can see Y represented the pounds of cornmeal. So that would be 3 pounds cornmeal. Okay. Now all you have to do is pick one more. So I'll do another one. I'll do this one in yellow. Anything in here. So you might pick something like this. I don't know. Just anything in that particular area where the overlap is. So if I count that, that's to the right. 1, 2, and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 2, 7 will be another solution. So that means 2 pounds of flour and 7 pounds of cornmeal. Now, did you have to choose those points? No, you could have chosen anything in there, okay? All right, I think I'm only going to do 3 of these, not all 6, because it's a lot. But I think with 3, you'll get the idea. If not, let me know, and I'll do some in class for you, okay? On the overhead. I'll pause with the other group.